Yep, I was like, oh, was it recording?
Yeah, you good? Keep
Oh,
talking.
I just asked him on the elevator. I was like, "Yo, would you want to be a guest?" And he said, "Yeah, definitely." So,
Oh, hell
because I
yeah.
think it'd be cool to interview him. He doesn't drink either. He
Oh,
just
okay.
smokes. He used
Is
to
that
drink and
that?
shit.
Is that that same guy you met like the first time you moved in, or is this a different guy?
Yeah, same guy. Yep, same
Nice.
guy. And he's super chill. So I'm like, he'd be a good first guest once we get this, once I get like a good guest format dialed in. But I think it'd be great to hear about like him as an artist and mental health struggles, and how he's zoned in, toned in his routines, and yeah. So just throwing
Yeah,
that
that'd
out
be
there.
legit.
Yeah,
I'm down.
yeah. Look him up. He's got Nacho Picasso.
Nacho. So, and he's a musician, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
from Seattle. Uh, but yeah, he's down.
Okay. That's on Instagram, Nacho Picasso.
I mean, Spotify. I haven't looked at
Oh,
Instagram.
Spotify. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Oh yeah,
Um,
I'll check that out today, actually.
yeah, check it out. I mean, he's got some slaps. Uh, Definitely. Oh yeah, setting up rewards for yourself, testing yourself, permission to have downtime. Yeah, goals.
Yeah,
Yep.
I wrote it down because I was like, I don't remember.
I know.
Uh, well, welcome everybody.
Welcome,
Episode
welcome, welcome.
5. Welcome,
Episode
welcome to.
5.
Yep, here we are. Sorry, had to take a couple of weeks to readjust our schedules to end a quarter for Mark, and then um, new job position for me. I
Congratulations.
Hey, thank you. So much better. So much better.
Yes, I'd love to
But
hear that.
that's something here. That's something
Well, I
else.
think I think that might be an interesting talking point too, with regards to this episode. We want to talk about setting up goals and downtime and readjusting. I think that's a perfect
Yeah,
segue. And I think
yeah,
just kind of ties into the topics we talked about last time, or maybe we haven't talked about as much, but like understanding things that are like within our control versus not, and you know, really setting like goals, rewards for yourself, and also like making sure you're adjusting your day as much as you can to align with like what serves you best. And I think you getting this new job and uh promotion at this other place and adjusting your hours to be more natural and get you in a better sync is a perfect example of taking control of those opportunities that you can. But
yeah,
um, you know, I'm happy to hear it. Glad that you got that position. You know,
yeah,
and you're getting into the flow. And yeah, like Ricky said, we had to take a few weeks off, but there's nothing wrong with a little bit of downtime. And today, I think we really want to dive into like I mentioned, setting up your goals, your rewards, and also kind of testing what your limits are so that you aren't burning yourself out on your mental health journey. I think oftentimes we as people get into a mode of it needs to happen right away, right now. And when it doesn't, or when you're feeling like out of sync, giving ourselves permission to take time to recalibrate, take time to adjust and and really set yourself up for that long-term success.
yeah. I think that's a big thing. From where I started, when I tried to stop drinking the first time, I thought it had to be instantaneous. I think I knew what I wanted, but I wanted it right away. And I
Yeah.
think for a lot of people, that's still pretty prevalent. So knowing this time around, as far as not drinking, but my goals and what I need to do for this job position, understanding that it takes time, and I gave myself a week, and I didn't get to that week to where I was back in my workouts. Like I was feeling super weak. Um, I wasn't doing my regimented stuff like my meditation, my reading, all that extra stuff that I usually do. Like it's all out of whack because I'm going from 4 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. now to 1:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. So I was like, okay, let me get my week to get my body adjusted. But it really only took it took a week for my body just to feel normal. So
Yeah.
I was sleeping like 10, 12 hours before I go to work and stuff like that. So I started beating myself up over it towards the middle of it or the end of the week. And then I realized I was like, you know what? At least I know it's still there and I'm not going to rush it. So I'm going to give it another 2 weeks. So now we're on the end of week 3, and I feel a lot better. Like my workouts feel stronger. I don't feel so as tired. I kind of found where I need to adjust my time as far as coming home and reading instead of trying to read it before work because my
Mm,
workouts kind of
mhm.
almost bleed into the time I have to leave to go to work.
Yeah.
So everything's starting to fall back into place. So it's really nice. Now I know for myself next time I do this, because I will have to do it again, because I'll probably have to go back to the opposite work schedule. I know it's going to take a minimum of 3 weeks to get everything back into order. So,
You'll have to go back to that opposite work schedule. Do you know when? Or
uh, no, hopefully a
dang.
year.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's important too. Like talk about that with your managers. Let them know like, hey, I need a year of normalcy here too.
Oh no, they're not going to give me that. If they tell me like next week, they're like, "Hey, we need you to go to mornings," I'm like, "All right, that's fine.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
better get marked ready or something, because
oh my
get me
gosh.
ready for the next step." No, I would have two more of these rotations to do, and then I'll be on to the next step. So
Oh, well, that's
whatever.
good. So,
Yeah,
but I think you nailed down some good points that I want to circle back on. One is when either changes happen through our own intervention, making decisions consciously to affect change, or changes happen outside of our control, giving ourselves that permission and that timeline to readjust and recalibrate. And I think you realizing that like you were beating yourself up for maybe not having the same cadence you used to. With your prior routine, but then realizing like, hey, you're the only one beating yourself up,
yeah,
and like you're bringing on that tension for no reason other than like it just, you know, but then as soon as you like consciously recognize like, hey, like I don't need to put that pressure on myself. I've already got these things, these tools that I have. And that's why it's important to practice these in a long-term fashion, because your tools are still going to be sharp. They might not be as sharp, but it's a lot easier to sharpen a tool that's only been sitting for a few weeks than it is to grab some rusty thing out of the garage that's been sitting for 4 years in the rain.
yeah,
And just take a take a visual mental inventory of what tools you need to sharpen, and when's the last time you touched them, and all of a sudden you'll start to pick up those tools every day again. And it's just patience.
yeah. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is once I kind of found that it's okay to not be where I was, I actually found myself giving myself that extra motivation to find the time. So, like
Hmm.
one night, I said, "Okay, I didn't read this morning. I'm gonna try it when I get home." And I actually kind of, I mean, yeah, it's midnight and I gotta go to bed by 12:45, but still, 6 pages, 7 pages, whatever you can read, at least it's read. At least you went through the motion. Like even going to the gym. So like I'll get home at midnight. I wake up at 7. And I usually go to bed by 1. That's only like 6 hours of sleep. But I'll wait at this point. Before I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to sleep. But now I'm starting to wake up at 7, and I feel as energized as I should be. And I'm able to go to the gym and I'm able to get it done. I feel better. So the more I've done it consistently now and just been
Yeah.
okay if I don't make it or not make it, it gives me more of that motivation. So that's been
And I
a
think,
huge help.
yeah, and like you said, like 6, 7 pages, it doesn't matter as long as you get into that habit again, and then your brain's able to recalibrate. And you're finding that balance, and it's all about just making the effort, but not worrying about so much, how much time you're getting in. And that's same with meditation. People often ask me like, you know they're almost at awe. They're like, wow, you meditate every day. And I have to remind them like, sometimes meditation is 2 minutes, sometimes it's a minute,
Yeah.
sometimes it's 30, sometimes it's an hour. It really just, you can't force it. If the time isn't there, recognize that the time's not there and be okay with the time not being there. Give yourself permission to have that flexibility built in. It's like people say, pick something fun that you enjoy doing to make your workouts last. And it's like that kind of mentality is prevalent and needed when you're working on your mental health too. Give yourself a little bit of a break there, um, and make sure it's enjoyable and that you're not like burning yourself out because you're trying to force it.
Yeah.
Um,
That's huge. I think the don't force thing is the biggest thing, because once you start forcing it, you start to lose the lack of like motivation and like the enthusiasm in it, and then you start doing it less and less and less.
yeah,
So I used to do like the 10-minute meditations, and right now, because I'm trying to figure out my work schedule, I'm doing it only on my days off, and then I do my 1 minute in my car, like on my iWatch or
oh
Apple
yeah,
Watch, whatever you want to call it. And I get it done there, and that's what I'm like. Okay, cool, it's done. Instead of
yeah,
trying to just sit there, and then I feel like, especially with meditation, if you try to force that in, only thing you're doing is your mind's just running and you're just wasting your time. So don't
Yeah.
force anything.
And then you're gonna beat yourself up, or maybe not, but then it's like, oh, that wasn't a good meditation, and you
Yeah.
start judging a meditation, which is like
Hmm.
the antithesis of what you're trying to do in meditation. Release all that judgment and that noise, and just get some clarity for, a minute is gonna be 1,000% better than zero. you
Yep.
know and and excuse me, sorry everyone. uh yeah, you brought up a good point, and I think I want to talk about like resisting the present moment, right? Like, you're trying to force it in, you're creating this tension, and you have this like resistance to like the reality of what it is right now, and it's really like a Zen philosophy of accepting the moment for what it is. Stop trying to control it. If your new schedule doesn't allow you to have that same routine, it's just accepting that and then figuring out how can I work with this new schedule with my routine.
Yeah.
And it might be a little different than how it was before, but that's growth.
Yeah. And I think another thing is once you start to figure that out, like I know I'm kind of going to the next stage, but even
Do it.
once you start figuring that out, you now know how to adjust your body to a certain way and you know how long it's going to take. And it's almost like a mental IQ thing. Like you had something new, it took you time, but you figured it out. So now you know for the next time, and it just it's
Yeah.
kind of great. Like you found beauty, or you found what's the word I'm looking for here? You found advancement in the struggle. You're able to take your problem. You didn't get frustrated. You didn't just let it be and just say, you know what, I'm done with it all. I'll figure it out later. You continued with it. You've tried to figure it out, and now you're like, oh, now I know it takes 3 weeks, and now I know I don't need 10 minutes. I just need the 2 minutes, and so
Yeah. And J. Cole said, there's beauty in the struggle, and I
yeah,
think that's exactly it. And it's going through the I don't even want to call it problems, but going through your obstacles and figuring out the way through, and recognizing that there's more than one path, and it's not a one size fits all solution for each kind of obstacle you're facing, but leaning into it and meshing with it, working with it, is the best way to limit that inner resistance. But yeah, in terms of like setting goals and being reasonable, I think having the idea of getting rid of like quantity and looking at just the quality, and setting realistic goals for yourself and being flexible, adjusting them based on the different life situations you find yourself in. Every day is different. As much as our brains love to predict and create these patterns, it's like not allowing the mind to just constantly take over and look for those patterns, and feeling stressed when you don't fall into that same routine that you're used to. And being able to reflect and being like, yeah, I know what kind of tools I need to use to get to that place where I was. It's like I have a note written out where it's like, I wrote out to myself, I'm at my best when I do my best. And that doesn't mean that it's like every time is going to be the exact same time, but I'm doing my best to at least be aware of what I need in order to be mentally healthy and successful in personal and professional worlds.
yeah. And I think
uh
oh, sorry, go for it.
oh no, you're good,
I
please.
think on top of that is, I know we were talking about setting goals and completing your goals and, doing all A, B, and C steps. But at the same time, we got to find time for that downtime. It's like there's got to be goals in there where it's like, okay, if I get this done, I get to do this. So for me, it was if I'm hitting the gym at least a minimum of 4 days a week, at least 1 to 2, depending on the month, because I'm giving myself that flexibility because my work schedule and life, things get hectic. I'm giving myself two days out of the month where I'm just like, all right, not doing it, and I'm only going to go three
Yeah.
days a week. So I took mine the other day. I was like, you know what? I just cranked out 3 weeks of work trying to fix the schedule, like getting zero sleep to getting too much sleep. I'm starting to figure it out. So I'm like, I'm going to take today as my peace day, and I
Yeah.
just slept till 10 o'clock. I woke up, do what I need to do, and it felt a lot better. So, got to
And
give
you're
yourself
okay
those
with
things.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I know that I got there. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, let me
Yeah.
just take a break and just reflect on it and just like have a day and not just keep, burning the candle on both ends. Like, you got to find that middle ground.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I mean, how many times we all heard like, "Don't burn the candle at both ends,"
Yeah.
and it's easier said than done because yeah, especially when you start getting to the habit of having these routines and goals. But it's building in that reward system, that those days off. Like, when I had my friend visiting, I was okay with taking a few days off from the gym and like just being present and not worrying about it because I know that the next week I'm gonna go 5 days instead of 3 or 4 days, and it's like for me, yeah, the working out is more of a mental thing. So like when I'm feeling down, even if I can't get a full workout in, I'll just go hit the treadmill for 20 minutes or like go walk around for 30 minutes and just change it up, whatever it is that you need to do. Don't beat yourself up because you think you have to have done it a certain way, you know. But yeah, it's super important to have those reward systems built in. Mine is mostly like if I get work done, get my workout in, make some food, I'll smoke a little weed and meditate, listen to music. Like that's my jam.
Yeah.
I was reading The Power of Now, and by Eckhart Tolle. And I've loved that book. I've read it, I've listened to it and read it so many times, but I keep revisiting it because I keep getting tidbits. And one of them, he was talking about how he's observing these two ducks, at a pond, and one duck swam into the other duck's area, and they got into a tussle, but it lasted very briefly. And this other duck, swam away and like shook his feathers off and like really just got rid of that stress and tension so that they could be present. And it's like finding a way to shake your feathers, if you will. How do you shake off that stress? What does that reward system look like? And making sure you aren't kind of carrying that tension with you from day to day, and really just letting things kind of let it go, shake it off, like whatever that looks like. And if that's part of your reward system, which for me it is because that feels the best, it's 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 okay to have those rewards built in. And don't let someone else judge you on your rewards so long as they're legal, and not hurting anyone else. If your reward is watching TV or eating a snack or doing something, build it in. Or maybe it's going to play some cards or whatever it is. Have a balance with everything. But you know my reward is really tied into a full meditation process, because I honestly look forward to that every day. It's probably the most insightful time I get. I'll journal beforehand and meditate and think about things, let things go. Um, but yeah, so I guess all that to say is figure out a way that like your reward system is also helping you shake off that stress, that tension, and be okay with the situation that you find yourself in.
Yeah. I like that. I really like that. Find ways to shake it off. I think one of the ways I do it is golf.
Mm.
Golf. I do my walks once a month, but that's not as frequent as shaking off the weekly stress. But um, I try to find that time to fit it in. Like if I'm off Saturdays, I try to go every Saturday, unless obviously no one else wants to go, and I'm not going to go by myself.
I mean,
but
you could, but yeah, it's not as
yeah,
fun.
it's not as fun. Like I went today for my brother's birthday, which his birthday was yesterday, and went with his friend Freddie and Elliot. So it was fun to get out there, and we played Wolf, which I've never played before. It's just like a version of like it's just a game within golf.
Oh,
Um, but it was fun. So like
yeah, just shake it
happy.
off. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
everything from last
stress.
week is gone, and I'm off
Yep.
today. So just gonna enjoy the rest of the day with no worries of how many calories I'm gonna eat. Obviously I'm not gonna go out there and spend a crazy amount of money, but if it's over my budget this week, it's whatever. Like I've had a good 3 weeks, so I feel like I deserve it. So I'm just gonna take today and enjoy the day.
Yeah, and I guess I will preface with the marijuana is not for everyone, but I will say the one thing I do beforehand is I usually put my iPod on. I have these lights in my living room that vibe to like the music. They'll change colors. Govee lights, I think, or something. Shout out to that Govee company. Send me some lights. But I'll put my AirPods in. I'll put the music on, and then I'll just dance in my living room. And just shake it off, like literally dance. And I'm a okay dancer, but it's like that to me is also very nice because that gets me in a very relaxed state. You can literally just focus on movement instead of your thoughts, whatever it is to kind of shake off that tension and stress. Figure out a way to shake your tail feather, if you will, for
I
the
was
ducks
waiting for
out there.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I mean,
I thought of that
I
earlier, but I
teed
don't
it
want to
up.
say
I
it.
mean, come on,
Isn't that a
that's
song? I feel like it's
yeah,
from a song somewhere. I don't remember
that's
where.
I think it's Nelly, right?
I don't know. That's just
Oh, maybe
early
not. I don't.
early 2000s. Early 2000s.
Early
That's some
2000s.
random name.
If anyone knows, feel free to comment in the comment section, or
Right, I
you
forgot
know,
that song.
write us an email. We do have an email address which is tied on the website. Check it out. Hit us up. Um, oh, there's a you got to do it, bro. It's a and I'll go on a tangent here, but I was listening to a podcast. Oh gosh, it's it's called, one second. It's called, oh, Unexplainable. But they did one on yawning, and like yawning, we actually don't know from a science standpoint why we yawn. People think it's often because you're tired, and the science is showing us that it might be more to do with regulating our body temperature. Uh,
Huh.
and because
That's kind of funny that you say that. I don't think I've ever yawned waking up.
yeah.
I've never thought like obviously like I'll wake up, I'll get my stuff done, I'll go like eat breakfast, and then like as soon as I'm in the car, like I'm yawning, but never like am I like waking up, brushing my teeth, getting breakfast, just sitting there yawning. Like I've never, no shit.
Yeah, so I mean, no, no, I don't take offense to any time anyone yawns, and it's also in from like a biological standpoint, like we yawn when we see other people yawn, and that could be a survival mechanism too, right? We're like they're overheating, so like we might be
Yeah, I
overheating, and
thought it
so
was like sympathy. I saw that on Luther. It's like if you yawn and someone else doesn't yawn, it's a sign that they don't have sympathy or empathy or something like that.
oh,
They're a
interesting.
psychopath. I was like, so start yawning in front of people. It's like, nope. I've watched too
Just
many serial killer shows.
oh, they didn't yawn. Uh-oh, time to
Yep.
run. I knew
Call
it.
the
I
FBI.
knew it. Yep. The FBI tip line hates us. We're always calling in non-yawners.
Yep.
Um, Let me plug in my computer real quick. Realize this battery's getting low, but yeah, I think so yeah, but back to setting goals and having that kind of intuition about yourself, I think is critically important. And like just reflecting on your weeks too, but yeah, setting those goals, having stuff that helps you shake off your stress and kind of get back in touch is, I think, probably the most important thing
Yeah.
to think
Um,
about too.
I know we talk about setting goals, and I know we talk about like our goals and stuff like that, but I feel like it's a good thing to talk about how to set goals,
Oh
um,
yeah.
because I think everyone has goals. Like I mean, I'm just gonna be very general, but it's like I want to be a millionaire. I want to drive this car. I want this, that, the other. But no one really knows what they truly want until you really take a real deep understanding of your brain. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had friends that are very wealthy, and that's always been a thing. It's like, oh, I want that, or I want to be able to do that. I want to buy this, or like I want to treat my friends like they treat us. And I'm obviously grateful for it, but at the same time, it's like, dang, like I wish I had those things. And I think that for me, that was a big thing. So I was like, oh, let me get my own apartment. Let me go do this, or like, you see like people that have a lot of money and they're like always out drinking. It's like, oh, maybe I should just start doing that. Maybe that will become that life. And it was like the opposite effect of the whole thing. So obviously, when I stopped drinking, my what I wanted for my goals completely changed. It became less external wants and more internal wants. So for me, it was how long can I go without drinking? Instead of just saying, okay, I want to go X amount of years. It's just how long I want to go without drinking. Um, how much money can I save by not drinking? So like actually doing the exact opposite of what I thought was what it was. So I think, everyone's going to set goals and it may not be the right goals. And the way to find out is by trying it, obviously, because you're going to have to. I think failure is a great thing in order to find out what you want. But, you know, taking that time for yourself and, even if it takes a month or 3 months, really take that time to sit down and understand who you are as a person
Mm,
before you start to set goals for yourself that you may be setting for other people. You
yeah.
may be like, you want to impress these people, but in reality, the only person you really have to impress is yourself. So,
Yeah. And I think that internal versus external is like probably the biggest point is like if you set goals to reach something on the outside, you're never going to be satisfied on the inside. And we all know that we all go to sleep and wake up by ourselves. And, what is it that you are uncomfortable with internally that you want to set a goal towards, and as you meditate, as you start to journal, have the intention of figuring out like sense your body kind of like where's that tension at and then think about like what events were surrounding that tension. Was it that I was drinking or that I was trying to impress people? Was it that I was abusing stimulants like I was because I was like I want to be as energetic every day as possible and I want to achieve X, Y, and Z in the business world, and but I wasn't really happy, right? Because you're not fulfilling what it is you want to do. And and then it's finding that balance in order to reach those goals, working within the world that we are in and wherever you find yourself in that moment, realizing that it is a journey and it's constant reflection. But those external forces that other people are doing, yeah, it's very easy to set your goals to match what they have on the outside, but we don't know from an external point of view. Yeah, like are they truly happy? Is that their goal? Or are they still looking for it and they just happen to have money? And so we think that they've met their goals. It's life is bigger than the checklist items for your job and business, and you really are a special person. Just the fact that you're here and you have consciousness and that we're all working through this together is the beauty of it, and we're all connected. So figure out a way to get in touch with what you need internally, and your external life is going to change just because that's how it works. It's the cause and effect thing. And, don't let the effects be your cause. Drive your cause and then figure out what the effects are going to be.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's a good point when you say your meditation and journaling. Um, I've probably said this before at some point in an earlier episode, but uh, just writing down your thoughts and just letting it free write and just write, and then
mm-hmm.
give it. I don't ever read what I write. I used to read it like every month. Like I would reflect before my therapy because I would go to therapy once a month. I reflect and then talk about that. But now I'm starting to go like a year, and I'm just gonna write, and then I'm gonna go back and then I reread it. Like you see the progress of what you made, and I think for a lot of people that are trying to set those goals, just keep writing, and don't even look at it. Like give it 6 months, and then go
Yeah.
reflect, and then just take a highlighter and just say like, okay, like have a green one or a yellow one and a red one. Okay, like this is superficial. Like this is external wants. These aren't the wants I'm looking for. And then you're gonna find in that fine print like this is what I really want. It could just be
Mm-hmm.
like smiling more, going to the gym more, like you know, if you're overweight, losing those extra weight so you can be more active outside. I don't know. But you'll find it in your own writing. Like your brain knows exactly what it wants. And I feel like sometimes our subconscious mind kind of gets in that way and you find what you don't want or like what you feel like what you need.
Yeah.
Um, and you could find it that way. I think that's a good way because I found my own that way. And it was, being better for myself to be better for others was like the underlining factor that I found in all of them. Obviously, that wasn't word for word, but the same thing I highlighted, I was like, okay, so like, what is it that these all things have in common that I keep highlighting it for grade? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like just being better for me to be better for the next person, and that's what I realized for myself, and that's how this journey really started for me.
Yeah. And I think that's it right there, because it can be scary to like write goals and then be like, oh my, and then you start to almost judge yourself of like, oh, these are all just external. But within those external, there's going to be this underlying internal theme, this element of what's at the core of it. What's that root cause that I'm feeling, deep in my gut and in your heart. And then yeah, your external stuff will start to align with that pretty automatically. But give yourself time, like the workshops and stuff of goal writing, those can be helpful but also stressful, because you feel like, at least in my experience, it had to sound right, it had to fit this format, it had to X, Y, and Z. It's like, yes, there are certain things that goals and stuff and habits scientifically have shown to be true, but in order to even put that into practice, you have to really get in touch with who you are as a person and who you're trying to be as a person. And and realizing that external stuff, just like our bones, they're all temporary, and the only thing that's gonna be in that constant day over day is like how you feel about, who you are and what direction you want to go. And, and soon enough, you're going to start exhibiting behaviors and patterns and habits that either align or disalign with that. And that's where you can make those tweaks um, and corrections. But yeah, it's like I journal probably like weekly, but like Ricky, I've stopped looking at it as consistently, and I'm more just I'll flip back. I think every few months I'll go through an old one and I'll highlight or I'll star, I'll circle, and then I start putting onto like a single sheet, and it's like I can see the alignment happening,
Yeah.
and I can see where I need to make adjustments, where I've like kind of ignored things or fallen back into old patterns or thought patterns, and it's just being aware of it, accepting it, and realizing what it is. And I don't beat myself up, but it's now in the front of my mind or conscious mind that, like, all right, yep, I wasn't so happy when I read that on paper, or like that I've done that behavior or thought, and then it gets easier and being present and like realizing like, you're here, you're alive, you're taking part of this cool experience called consciousness through your like physical self. I mean, it's a pretty fun place to be, even if your situation isn't what you want it to be at the moment. You know, think about how your internal thoughts are aligning to those goals.
But I mean, as we said before, you got to find the beauty of the struggle. So even if you aren't there, be like, I can't wait to get out of this. So I have a
Yeah.
story. I never thought that in a gabillion years. I hate talking. I'm at home. I'm a pretty shy person in my own personal life, but um, if Mark and I never went through what we did, we wouldn't be doing this. Um, and this is a beautiful thing. I mean, for me and him, it's therapeutic for myself, and I could probably say the same for Mark.
Oh yeah.
Even if this is just where it goes, and we have like two people that listen to it,
Yeah.
that brings a lot of warmth to my heart, knowing that someone's like, okay, like maybe they kind of know what they're talking about, like. So
And I mean, there's even just the handful of people that have reached out and told us, "Hey, that had an impact on me." Like that
yeah,
that gives us the energy to make sure, because it's really just about, yeah, it's about you, it's about that connection that we all have and our shared experiences, and realizing, like, hey, you're not alone in it, and this is very therapeutic for me. I always tell people this is like my second therapy a week, and it's even more in depth because it's outside of a constructed environment with a therapist, and it gives me a chance to also reflect. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, we're doing it for a shared reason. And that's really all the motivation you need, because mental health is something that we all can relate to.
yeah,
And we're excited to keep this journey going, and bring in some people for interviews, and really talk to folks out there who have gone through and who are working on their mental health, and you know kind of bringing a light to the shared experience a little bit. It's pretty fun, and it's also, I listen back some of the episodes, I'm like, wow, yeah, I got to listen to what I said more too, so it isn't like we've got this dialed in.
yeah,
We're humans as well. We're not here trying to put ourselves on a pedestal or anything. It's just an open dialogue about what has helped us in the recent years with, especially COVID, and then the passing of our friend, and just the impacts that it's had on all of our mental health, and realizing that, like, hey, both Ricky and I are kind of going through the same thing mentally, in terms of wanting to dial it in. And then we started talking about the different things that we're researching or learning about ourselves, and realizing, like, hey, these are all like, we're pretty well synced up. And he lives in Texas, I'm in Portland, so it isn't like we see each other every day. And so, second benefit is I get to talk to my best friend weekly, which is great. And Ricky definitely, I mean, it's great to see him open it up, because yeah, you're a shy guy when it comes to sharing, and I'm so happy to see that this has been a therapeutic thing for you too, man. Um, one day we'll have a studio in person, I'm sure, because it'll blow up. The two listeners out there, feel free to donate 10,000 a month. Um,
I'm trying to stop working so I can do this full
yeah,
time.
yeah, I mean, that's part of it too. It's like we want to, I think one of my goals too is, yeah, to just feel like I'm leaving the world a better place day by day, and how can I do that from an alignment standpoint, and what is it that I can share. And yeah, this has been a solid outlet for me to explore those feelings. And I never thought I'd be talking on a podcast and recording YouTube videos, and but It's cool. I no longer am weirded out by my own voice. I'll tell you
Yeah, same.
that.
I remember even in college when we used to do like the stupid like videos and stuff for class. Like whenever it
Oh
was my
yeah.
turn to present or whatever and show my video and hear my voice, like I would literally like try to zone out so hard and not look at the screen, just like my hands be sweating, like just hurry up and be done. Or like sometimes I just go to the bathroom, like 'cause I know we're up next, I just leave. I don't
Yeah.
want like so embarrassing, but look at us now. It's kind of funny to see the difference
Letting
in the transition.
Yeah, man, that's mental health growth right there. It's like not being embarrassed about being us.
Yeah.
This is part of the experience and growth. It's it's being vulnerable and sharing that vulnerability. If that makes an impact to anyone out there, please let us know. Um, Text us, comment, send us a message because that's the stuff that really helps us. And let us know what you want to hear. What do you want to discuss? We have I have an endless list of ideas and topics, um, but I want to make sure that we're touching on the things that folks want to hear too. So uh, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. That's
Let
that's
us know.
a real dope. Let us
Let
know.
us know. Let us know. But yeah, so set goals, set rewards, but figure it out and learn how to shake off your stress. What's your tail feather dance gonna be? And figure it out. Sometimes too, it's just the little things. It's listen to your favorite song, your album. Sense, smells, your senses are so integral to your mental health development too. Um, I set a whole stage before I do art. It's like meditation, it's incense, it's the sound, it's every sensory gets lined up so I can tune in and tune out the world when I need to and shake off that stress. And it's pretty funny because I'm like, if my neighbors ever saw me just doing my dances every night, they're probably thinking like this guy's partying it up, but it's really just me dancing with the lights on, the music vibing in the living room, like sober, chilling. But that's the kind of energy that I like to shake and bring in that positivity. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think a good starting point for those that don't know um, where to start, just start by outside, going on a walk, being in nature, get away
Hmm.
from what you see daily into something that you don't see too often. I mean, obviously Portland's a lot different when it comes to Texas as far as scenery. Um, so for those people that live in Texas, go outside and try not to be on a park that's near a street, because most of them are. But there are those places. What's a good one that's over here if you live in DFW? The Arbor Hills in Plano is a good one. It's cemented, but it gets you far enough away from the main street to where you're kind of out there in the middle of nothing, um,
Yeah.
and just have your headphones on, find your favorite genre. I try to do non-lyrical, so I'm not listening to the lyrics because it takes away from me just thinking. So if you
Mm-hmm.
guys can do classical or like low beat house with no vocals, that's the best to help your mind kind of like reach what you're trying to get to instead of trying to listen to what someone else is saying. So
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. Like I've started to listen to less music with lyrics in it as I'm just meditating. I mean, when I meditate, I really don't have any music going typically. Um, but that takes a while to get to that point because it's hard to block out distractions. But yeah, go outside, go in nature, let your brain listen to what we've said, let it sink into your subconscious and keep doing that. Start Ideas will start to kind of bubble up of who you are internally, what your goals are. You'll start to feel it. Write those down, rinse and repeat, and just kind of take it one step at a time. Get your clarity, get your vision, and then figure out how to structure your habits so that you're aligning to those goals and really be continually checking in with yourself. How are you feeling? How did certain situations make you physically feel? Um, who's draining your energy, who's giving you energy, who's reciprocating in life and who's not. Can you change your attitude over a certain situation or can you change your situation and then figure out what you need to do to get there, but don't beat yourself up for where you find yourself at the moment. Just have a direction and a vision of where you want to go. And it's that's where I would say start out and then maybe re-listen to this episode or episode 4 and kind of just work backwards from there. We have, and I think too, Ricky, what I was thinking too is we could also do like a purely instructional video or like 10-15 minute clip of like, goal setting process, or do it live for people too. I think would be a fun thing. Put us on the spot a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We've got all the time in the world so long as we're here in this world. So, there's no rushing getting things done and out, but um I like what you said about getting to nature. There's a lot of signs too that getting just into nature, especially in the woods. If you're in Oregon, it's very easy to go find a wooded area. Just walk down your
Yeah,
street,
walk outside.
but that is my favorite place to meditate. And there's a lot of science that shows your body will naturally, from like a chemical standpoint, get back into like a balanced rhythm just by being in nature alone. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to think about it. You just have to be there, be present, and your body will take care of the rest. And that's the beauty of it too. It's like tapping into what your body does naturally, and get outside, get away from the street noise, from that busyness, and enjoy the space and the nature, and really observe like the flowers and the trees and the
Yeah, be
birds, the
present.
bees. Be present. Be
Yeah.
present. I could zone out for hours looking at a bee,
I
just
don't know about all that, but
buzzing around. I'm like, wow, what a cool life. Uh, but also save the bees. I think they're actually coming back, the honeybees. I'm not sure about that. Check that later. But yeah, save the bees, save the trees. But yeah, I think that's a good place to start. So yeah, a little homework assignment. If you're looking to get started, get out into nature, listen to some, lyric-free music, figure out your vibe, and let those thoughts kind of come to you, and you'll be surprised how quickly your subconscious will start to cleanse itself and wash out those negative thoughts, and you'll start to get out of your own way a little bit. Um, because that's really a lot of it, what it is too. Don't be afraid that you're gonna go on a nature walk and you don't like the way that sounds. Trust me, it's okay.
yeah,
Nature walks, it's here for a reason, and there's a reason why everything is syncs up in nature too. Um, but yeah, what do you
yeah.
think? Yeah, I
I
mean, I don't
no,
know. I don't
dude.
have anything else to say. I think that would,
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like we just keep talking instead of just keep spreading. So I think
yeah.
that's a good stopping
I think
point.
yeah, it's me too.
So
Uh, so yeah, thanks for listening to episode 5 of Dudes.Done.Deal. Uh, Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube, but mostly Spotify. If you don't want to see our faces the whole time, I get that. I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Hopefully, it's helping everyone who's listening, and we thank you for tuning in and to us, so you can tune into yourself and enjoy the rest of your weekend, if it's a weekend, or weekday if it's a
well,
weekday.
yeah. Happy Memorial Day. We're almost
Oh
there,
yeah,
man.
that's right. Long weekend. Hopefully, people are relaxing
Yeah, right.
and
Long weekend. I work tomorrow, so
well, long weekend for me.
yeah.
And for other corporate folks, if you are
Happy long
working,
weekend for anyone who works a 9 to 5, Monday through
that's
Friday.
right. Well,
Us
yeah, Monday
retail
through Friday.
folks, we hold it down
Yeah,
for the rest of you guys. We're essential workers.
you are essential. You are essential. I mean, that's we all learned that. That was a quick lesson in COVID, huh? Talk about.
Yeah, respect your retail workers.
That's right. That's respect. Respect retail workers. Respect yourself. Respect everyone. But most importantly, take the time, set your rewards, take an off day when you can, and use this as an invitation. If you've been thinking that you need to take some time to just chill, this is it. This is what you've been waiting to hear. Here's your invitation from the universe. Go take your time. Go chill. Relax. Stop beating yourself up a little bit and get realigned, re-energized, because the summer's coming up,
Yeah,
and you
summertime.
know, summertime. Nothing but
Enjoy
sun.
it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Use it as a good opportunity to reset. So,
Hmm.
thanks for tuning in. Uh, this is Mark,
Ricky.
and that was Dudes Done Deal.
All right. See you guys.
Bye bye. Bye.